guys, it is time to check out my new catamaran, the 52-foot Island Spirit 525E hybrid electric sailboat. My Island Spirit 525 is nearing completion, and there's some great new pictures of the model. But even more exciting than that, in November I traveled to Thailand to get a look at the factory and take another tour of the boat. I got to take a look at the inside of the boat, the guts, the parts before the deck was put on, as well as some of the finish out. And a very first look at the electric propulsion. Then the deck was pulled out of the mold and the two halves were sandwiched together. You can really see the boat is finally coming together. I got a behind the scenes look at the manufacturing process and the first peek at the electrical components. This is exciting, guys. I got a new update video about the boat I'm having built. So we are still cruising around on the Sea Ray. If you've watched those last couple of videos, we headed through the Florida Keys into the Bahamas and all that. I hope you can catch up with those videos. But this video is going to be an update about my new Island Spirit 525E. It's the electric hybrid sailing catamaran that I'm having built in Thailand. And also, I will be in Miami at the Miami Boat Show this February 17th. I'm giving a presentation on the Island Spirit 525 with a Q&A. So I'm going to answer all your questions, go into specifics on the boat. You can see the model of the boat, all the specs. You can go through the diagrams, all that. I'll do that with you. There's a sign-up list down below in the description where you can sign up. It's totally free to go to, and I'd love to see you there. There were several different parts to this video. I visited the factory back in November and took some video then, and then I got some new video as you know the big pieces have been put together and all that. Then I've got some of the component manufacturers like Electrical Marine that we talked to about. They're going to install some of the systems on the boat. So I'm getting serial number 1. They've already got the first 6 boats under contract, and so I believe they're more than a year out right now. So if you are interested in these boats, you might want to do something about it quickly, because as soon as mine's done and people can actually get on the boat and take a look at it, I'm sure they're going to sell quickly. And then that wait list could go to years, So if you are interested, there's links down below. Be sure to please tell them that you heard about the Island Spirit 525 on Sailing Doodles. That really does help me out a lot. So with that, let's get on to the tour and let me show you the boat. This is hole number 3. It's in the mold right now. Hole number 2 is right here, and mine is hole number 1 at the end over here. It's an Island Spirit 525 E models for electric motors, and I'm going to give you guys a tour of it. A lot of the interior is done. They just basically, I think in the next few weeks, they're going to put the deck on top and then just kind of get all the fitting out and going. So mine is a bit custom. This hole number 1. It's a 3 cabin boat, so they can have up to 6 cabins. If you want to put it in charter, that'd be a charter machine. So with Navigar, you can put 6 cabins in here, and man, that thing will charter for probably, I'm just throwing out a number, I think the thing would charter for $18,000 or $20,000 a week, something like that. You can already see the little notch for the anchor, and then I'm having a bowsprit put on mine. So it's got the opening cut through that, and they're gonna put a extendable bowsprit pole in there. So you can see it's got a lot of windows on the side, so it's gonna have a lot of natural light coming in the side. Of course, there'll be shades if you wanna close it off, but I like that because I don't like a lot of catamarans where you feel kind of trapped down in the holes, but I like having this exterior opening space, which is nice. So here it is, guys. This is the kind of the cockpit area here. It is going to have a lift that is, I don't know, hopefully I can find it here somewhere, but it's going to have a lift, a dinghy lift that comes out, and there'll be a platform off the back that you can lower down into the water and make like a little swim platform out of as well when the dinghy's not on it. So it makes it getting the dinghy on and off pretty easy. This would be the whole cockpit area here. And it goes until about right here. So you see the aft cockpit is quite large here, and then this would be coming into the salon all the way here. So this would be the salon all the way up till about, let's see here, about this point right here. And then this is all the forward seating area right here. When they put the deck on here, it'll look a little bit, you'll be able to see a little bit better, because it's going to have a walk-through door, right? Where's the door going to be? Right here on the left, that you walk through and you go out to the transom, or to the bow. So everywhere you see kind of the red color, that is the high-density foam. I believe each one of these is 20 millimeters thick, and at the bulkheads, they're 40 millimeters thick. So they're super strong and really durable. You don't want there's no wood on this boat, so nothing's gonna rot, right? That's what can happen with boats, traditionally built boats that are still, I'm not gonna mention any manufacturers still build them that way, but they used wooden bulkheads that just rot and break.
This is all high density foam, will not rot, and it's very, very, very strong. And in fact, the entire hull is 40 millimeters thick of high density foam, which is, very durable. I mean, like as you know, I sailed in Greece. I don't know how thick it was, but not very thick. You could see daylight through the hull. This is very well structurally sound and insulated, because you got 40 millimeters of foam, then you add all the gel coat and all that stuff on top and the insulation, so it'll do really well insulating from the cold or the heat. Everywhere you see the green foam it's not structural, so their plan is to make everything modular, right? So you can just plug and play. You want the 5 cabin, 6 cabin, you want the 4 cabin, 3 cabin, whatever you want. They can just build each module out of the green foam, high density foam, and then just plug it right in to the boat. This one is all handmade because, well, it's hull number 1, right? They got to fit it all out, but eventually they will get it where it's all just like building Legos, you know what I mean? But I will take you down on the guest side first, which is the starboard side. It's the 2 cabins, 2 heads on that side, and show you that. So coming down here on the starboard hull, we'll start at the back where you can kind of see what they've done here with the interior. So you got the green high density foam, and they put this kind of like material to smooth it all out. I don't know what exactly it's made of, but I don't know if it's like not Bondo, but whatever that would be, to smooth everything out, get everything nice and flat and level. And then, so you can see where they've done that. So that's the green high density foam there. They've put the first coat of the stuff to sand it all down and get it nice and smooth over here. And then the forward section here, they've actually already got some paint on here, so it's nice and smooth and looks really good. So I'll show you on the other side. It's already got some of the wood paneling in to make it, and then the vinyl to kind of show you some stuff there. But you can just see, there's a nice big window back here. So this is the aft cabin. And then lots of storage shelves on the side, which is nice. And then it's got its own hanging locker right here, and then another little like cabinet space here. And then it has its own ensuite head. So come in here, it's still pretty good size. I mean, for having 2 heads on this side, it's pretty good size. So it's a dry head, right? So you have your toilet over here, your sink, and then a separate shower over here so that the rest of your head doesn't get wet while you're taking a shower. One thing, like I was just on another boat, and I was on another catamaran too. Like, I don't know what they designed their bathrooms for, but they always put the mirror down low here where you have to scooch down to see it. I don't know, maybe the midgets design it. But so yeah, you can see how nice and tall the ceiling is in the bathroom, so you have a nice big mirror so you can actually see what you're doing. Coming forward, you can see this is mostly finished painting, so it's it's all smoothed out and everything. Still just a lot of window space over here, which is really nice. And then all these cabinets over here, storage underneath the beds as well, and then hanging locker right here, nice big hanging locker. There's plenty of storage space, lots of storage on this boat, which is really nice. And one thing I didn't, and it has its own head as well, that has a separate shower. So it's a dry head, right? So you have your shower separate with a door to seal everything off, and the toilet and everything. So it's nice. And it's got lots of windows even in the bathrooms, right? So it's nice. You get a lot of natural light coming through here, which is great. Let's go over to the other side over here. This side is the owner's version. That's my version. So it's got 1 cabin and an office. So it's a much bigger head on this side. We'll start in the aft cabin here. So really spacious aft cabin. So you walk in, you have a lot of space here. Full queen size bed back here with just a little bit of notches cut out to the side for helping you get around and on it. But then tons of storage on the sides, cabinets underneath, and then look at this big giant window in the back. You're going to get so much natural light. And then it has an absolutely huge hanging locker. Look at the size of this hanging locker. That's like my first closet wasn't even that big in a house, so lots of space back here. We can't get into the hatches here, but I'll show you on the other boat over there. They have the electric motors in, so you can see that they're electric motors with shaft drives going out the back, which is really cool. And it has like a little makeup counter, whatever you want to call it, little storage of some, put a mirror there for the ladies doing their makeup, whatever they need to do. All right, so forward of that is a nice big head. Quite a bit bigger than the other side, and again, a dry head, but the shower is absolutely huge. You can fit 3 people in there if you want to. Maybe we'll try that. coming forward into my office. It's going to be so nice having a proper office in here where I can have a desk, real computer screens and all that, lots of storage and cabinet space. All this is cabinet space here. So the doors here, everything's made out of high density foam, right? So the doors are made out of foam, which makes them incredibly light. They're still doing the edge banding, so they just put these on to kind of give you guys a good look, but they have to do the edge banding, which is like, well, putting the edge on the doors, right? So it's kind of mocked up right now just to get the look out of it, but so you got this kind of the wood paneling, and then the vinyl on the wall as well, kind of gives it a nice shape. Lots of natural light coming in here. These have little lips on it, so it'll have curtains on the inside that you can slide in and out to get to block the light or sun, or privacy. But just lots of space in here, just so much cabinet space in here, which is going to be awesome for all my gear. Okay, so there you go. That is the port side. I'm going to go over to the hull number 2 that I believe has the engines in it, and you can see them on there, the motors. So we'll head over that way. All right, so this is hull number 2. Apparently it is a 5 cabin, which is I think what most people are ordering, especially if you're going to put it in charter. A 5 cabin, or 6 if you really wanted to, that would be a charter machine. You could definitely get that done. So I'll show you a little bit of the differences here, and then show you the motor. So this is the aft cabin, and you actually access it from outside in the transom. So the door will be back here, and you go in right there. They've got this one set up as a bunk room, kind of a crew cabin, but it's got its own separate head right there. And then the motors are underneath that, and I'll show you that on the other side. Forward of that is another cabin. You go down here and turn left. The bedroom, the bed is a little bit aft, and then the head is forward of that and to the left, to the port side. And lots of just storage in here, which is really nice. Then going forward is the forward cabin on the port side. Huge hanging locker. The bed turns sideways, and then it has its own head as well, forward. So, and then shower separate. So it's dry head, right? So you got a door here for the shower, you got your toilet and everything right here. On the starboard side is basically the same as my starboard side, so there's not a whole lot of differences, but they have the engine accessible here, the motor. So it is an option to have an electric motor on this boat. You can still get diesels if you want, it's a little bit cheaper, but I think it's really cool having the electrical stuff. And then, so the motor, because the electric motors are so much smaller and quieter than diesel engines. I mean, like, gosh, they gotta be so much quieter than diesel, just loud, whatever. But they're shaft driven. Most of the time on these boats, back here on the transom on each hull, you would have the motor in the back and then a sail drive, which is basically a gearbox turning down and then turning out. So that's just a lot more failure points with the sail drive, right? So you have to keep them lubed up, and they can leak, and if you get water in the lubrication system, it's a nightmare, and you have to get them serviced all the time. With the shaft drive, it's just basically, you know, your old school stuff like a normal sailboat. You just have a little drip seal to keep water from coming in, and that's pretty easy to replace, you know. So I really like that. Plus, I mean, it's just gonna be so much quieter. I don't know if you've ever motored while trying to sleep in the back, but it's loud. Instead of the motors in the transoms in the back there in each hull, that's where the batteries are gonna be. So you're gonna have 210 kilowatts of battery for the electric version. And then on the starboard side, they'll also have I think it's 57 kilowatt generator, which is more than capable of powering everything on the boat, charging all the batteries and running the motors. I'm not 100% sure on these numbers, but there's a 57 kilowatt generator. The motors pulling full power, going 8 knots, burn 35 kilowatts. So it's just over 50% load on the generator, which is nice. Running off the batteries, depending on how fast you want to go, you're anywhere from like 8 to 12 hours on the batteries. You have basically unlimited range with the generator backup, you know, if you want to, depending how much fuel you have, right? You know, it'll run till you run out of fuel, right? For charging the batteries, you can use the generator, or you can hook up to shore power, you know, 220 volts, 50 amp. The better way to charge, which not many marinas have it yet, is actually it's going to have an EV port for charging. So like your electric car, it'll have a port for charging like that. Most marinas don't have that yet, but it's going to be there for when it is available. And it has 5,000 watts of solar for the house bank. The house bank is 25 kilowatts, which is still a lot. That's the equivalent of like 2,000 amp hours of batteries, but it's also lithium. So if you had a 2,000 amp hour traditional lead acid or AGM batteries, you're only really supposed to use half of that. Lithium, you get to basically use all but like 10% of it. So your battery bank will last a very long time. Plus there's DC to DC charging. So your drive bank, the 210 kilowatts, can charge your 25 kilowatt house bank. It's going to be a pretty technologically advanced boat, and just all the foam and everything inside it, it's so much lighter. So it does have the weight of the batteries, but there's no wood on this boat. Like all the doors are foam with the wood laminate on it, and so they're incredibly light. And if you know anything about sailing, it's all about the weight of the boat, honestly. Heavier the boat, the slower it is. So even though it's a big boat, it's gonna be fairly light, which is nice. All right, now I will take you over to the top deck. I don't know how much you may be able to see because it's upside down basically. So, you gotta pull it out of the mold. We'll just kind of hop up there and give a quick look though. This is the bow side here. You can see the 4 peaks on each side, cutouts for the hatches and everything. And then this is the forward seating area. So this kind of sinks down into the hole. You can see the steps down into the salon from there, and then this is the forward seating area. So the center part here is, you can see the doorway that they'll cut out eventually going forward into that seating area. So it's a nice big doorway coming through. And then this whole area right here, so this big open spot is the salon. So you can see how big of the salon it is. This part here is the cockpit. So you can see just how big the cockpit is. So they're both 2 really big usable areas there. The steel that's here, it's just to pull the top out of the mold. They will cut away all this steel. I mean, because the structure of the high density foam and all that, and the bulkheads and all that, that's what gives it its rigidity and its shape. This is just to help pull it out of the mold. So you're not going to need all this metal in here to weigh it down. It's going to be all the density foam, which is going to make it really light. So, I mean, it's nice because this is all cockpit. So that's really big. And then this is all salon, and that's really big. So pretty nice. And then there'll be one more piece that goes, well, it's upside down, but above this, below it, that's for the fly bridge and all that, for the top of that. This is the dinghy platform off the back that I was talking about earlier. So the hydraulic arms there kind of lift this thing up and behind the boat, and you put the dinghy right on it. So, being hydraulic, this is all aluminum. It's got non-skid built into it. So it should be able to handle a pretty beefy dinghy. I'm getting the Highfield Sport 360. It's gonna be nice having this. And then kind of the cool part is when you got the dinghy off the back and you just want to, kind of chill out halfway in the water, great spot for it.
The following week, my boat was pulled out of the bay and moved to another section where they could sandwich the 2 halves of the boat together. The deck was placed on top of the hull and bonded together. Aft, there's a really spacious cockpit, and they still need to add the dinghy lift. Here is the large seating area up front.
This is Ron, the owner of
Hey, how you doing?
These are incredibly light, and the whole boat's built out of this, right? So
Yeah, all the doors and everything. So what we do is, where the interiors of most boats are made with a marine ply with a veneer on the outside and a typical cabinet type construction, we're doing the same kind of thing, but we're doing it with foam. And so one of the challenges we've had is adapting some of the tooling. And for instance, what we have is what we call edge banding, which is on the edge of any cabinet or anything that you do. And we had to get the technology working to be able to edge band a foam. So we've got that going now. So we'll be able to finish up Bobby's doors and things. This took us a while to get everything working where it would properly bond to the foam and we'd have a good long-lasting finish. But you can see they're very, very light. Okay, so all the doors and everything are made out of the not infused foam, but foam sandwiched between the laminates.
that's pretty much it at this shop, but you guys are building a new facility with robots, right?
That's correct, yeah. We're gonna head down now to the advanced tooling facility. We believe we'll be moving the whole factory down there, but we're waiting for the proper licensing. But we've set up our robotics line down there so far, along with our our tooling for the cabinets and an additional CNC and that kind of stuff.
All right, let's head over there. So this is their new facility here where they've got the robots. So they got a lot of space to expand here if they need it. Plus then on this side over here, they can move out that way if they need to expand more too. But I'll take you inside. So these are the robots. They're each on 25-meter tracks. They can go the whole up and down, work on either side of it. So I guess the whole concept of the robots is that what? It's more precise and faster and all that than hands. Been doing it by hand.
What these will allow us to do is rapidly create tooling.
Right.
First off. Okay, so for instance, the owner of hull number 6 wanted a slightly different configuration on the aft seating. Right? With these, we can do up a quick mold for what he wants.
Right.
And do that as kind of a custom thing.
Right.
But this also allows us to enhance the tooling for the boats we're making now. So the IS-410 and the IS-525, through the process, we'll go through a production engineering process for version, call it version 2, where the assembly time will then be much faster.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So these are 2 KUKA robots that can work in tandem or alone, and each one is on a 24-meter rail. So we can set up in the center here, for instance, and machine a mold for a hull, right? Or the whole deck,
right?
Okay, or the whole fly bridge, etc. So these are frames because in the next week or so, we'll be doing molds, starting on doing the plugs for molds for additional parts.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I'm here at Electrical Marine. They're the guys going to be installing all the navigation equipment and all that on the boat. They're going to show us some of the stuff they're going to put on the boat and some of the equipment. So we're going to do that now. We are in the back of the shop here at Electrical Marine. They've got a system. It's not my system. It's a system they're setting up here now. But let me introduce you to the guys that are kind of doing all the work back here and then we'll explain what's going on. So this is Jamie. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jamie. I'm an installer and technician at Electrical Marine. สวัสดีครับ ผมเป็นช่างอยู่ที่บริษัท Electrical Marine ภูเก็ตครับ
All right. And then over here we have Sergey.
Yeah, hi, I'm Sergey. I'm technician and installer from Electrical Marine 2. Меня зовут Сергей, и я тоже технический установщик из компании Electrical Marine.
The system we've got here, it's not going to be exactly my system, but it's similar. And so what you guys are doing, I guess, is explain. You're setting everything up in-house here so that when you take it to the boat, it's a lot more simple.
Yeah, so basically what we do is we get all the equipment that the customers have ordered or would like installed, and then we connect it all up and then test, make sure everything works, and then obviously also work with the customer on what programming they need, like for example what channel they want the pump to come on or a certain light to come on, and also programming what the favorites page on the C-zone display looks like, so you can have like maybe you'd have 2 fuel tanks and maybe a freshwater tank, so you can set that all up here, so it's easy for you to just flick through and see basically where your vessel is at the moment.
I guess this is just a lot easier to do here than on the boat because, well, once you're getting to that point of installing this stuff, you can't. It's hard to run the cabling and all that, right? To redo it all.
Yeah, correct. Doing this, we also have a sense of where everything's going to be positioned and where the cables need to be run and that sort of stuff. Yeah, it's much easier to do it here than doing on the boat. What we do on the boat normally is just fine-tuning everything. So we'll just basically install everything the way it was set up here, and then we just go around and just try every single circuit or everything that's been programmed just to make sure that it works. And then with the owners there with us, they'll also give us like some feedback, what we need to tweak and change and stuff like that. Yeah.
So all this equipment, all the sensors and transducers and all that is all networked into the B&G system. Correct. And then we also, you said the C-zone, which you kind of touched on a minute ago, that is kind of like a monitor panel and control panel for what? What is that exactly?
Yeah, it's basically a digital switching. What I like to compare it to is basically like a smart home for your boat, basically. So instead of conventional mechanical switches, you have everything on the touchscreen, so you can turn on and off things and monitor your tanks, monitor your power usage, your batteries, everything basically digital.
And not only you have the control panel there, but I guess is there an app on your phone too? Is that right?
Yeah, you can get an app, I believe, on your phone, or I think it works best on your iPad.
Right.
So you basically have pretty much this screen
A
on your
repeater.
iPad.
So you can just, yeah, I mean, so you don't have to go to the physical location of that. You'd be sitting in your bedroom, pick up your iPad, and be like, I want to turn all the lights off.
Yeah, and then it'll go over your Wi-Fi and do what you need to be.
And I guess the benefit, I think we were talking about earlier, of getting all this set up now is that you can do all the updates and make sure there's no transmission errors or anything like that right here.
Yeah, so we set them up, and then we check everything's communicating properly, and we check all the software updates, and if there's if anything needs to be updated, obviously we'll update it before we install it.
You're kind of a big guy. How do you crawl in there and do all this stuff?
Normally, just try to go somewhere and try to find where I can fit and go in. And
Well, you got some long arms then, I guess.
Yeah.
Long arms, okay. One other piece of equipment that's not here that we're talking about putting on the boat is a Surtec, I guess, anti-lightning device, because it doesn't like stop, well, I guess it does, it's anti-lightning. It doesn't like protect it if it gets hit. Well, it makes it not get hit, right?
Yeah, basically it stops the boat from getting hit in the first place, and from what I've heard, I hear that silent yachts are using it on their electric powered catamarans. So that's got like all sorts of electronics, and the propulsion system is all electronic, so it's pretty important not to get hit.
Yeah.
And all the silent yachts that have had this installed have never been hit.
That's the thing, like, I don't know if you've ever known anybody that's been hit by lightning, talking to the viewers there, but if your boat gets hit by lightning, like all the cables, all this is replaced. And that's very expensive.
Yeah.
So probably a good thing to put on your boat. All right, guys. Sergey, thank you, sir. Jamie, thanks for having me over to check this stuff out. I'm looking forward to getting it on the boat. And so check out Electrical Marine. These guys know what they're doing. All right, so pretty cool system. Excited about it. I really have always liked the B&G stuff there. And I like that I can have an app to control all that stuff too. So. And I walked up to the car on the wrong side because they drive on the wrong side of the road. But anyway. So there you go, guys. The boat's almost finished. It's almost coming together. I'm pretty excited about it. If you are interested for more information, please click the links down below. And be sure to tell them you saw it on Sailing Doodles. That really helps. Make sure you're subscribed to this channel so you get updates as they come along. And I'll also be in Miami at the Miami Boat Show this February 17th for a presentation that I'm giving on the Island Spirit 525 and a Q&A. So if you'd like more information and you want to meet and talk about the boat, and they have a model there you can check out. You can check out all the specs and everything like that. We're going to go into detail on the boat. So there's a link down below for that if you'd like to register for that event. It's free to come to. I'd love to see you there in Miami. So thank you guys for watching. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Couldn't do it without our patrons. Thank you so much. And we'll see you on the next video.